Lights, camera. I'm on camera.
Why don't you not bomb it? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Olga is here. For those of you who haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the bell as well to get the latest notifications about the videos I post out there for you guys. And today, the long-awaited review of the new Urban Decay eyeshadow palette, Born to Run. I constantly have to check with myself to make sure I don't say born this way. I mean, I don't know what is it with me, but I keep doing that. So this is the unicarton that this palette comes in. It has gorgeous packaging. I mean, this is so unusual, so cool. Has all of these photographs of beautiful places you could visit, and I just love it. Also, this does feel heavy, so there is quite a weight to it, but surprisingly, even though it has a lot of like eyeshadows, it is very compact. Just to give you an example, so here's the Kat Von D Shade and Light contouring palette. So if you have this one is just a little bit longer, just to kind of give you an idea where we are in sizing. It has a large mirror on this side, and here are the eyeshadows themselves. So what I really like about this palette is the fact that it actually runs an unusual number of eyeshadows, 7 in the row, so you get 21 eyeshadows. And it's kind of unusual because normally we are like at 15 and then it's like a very common type of layout, but this one has 21 eyeshadows. So let me go ahead and give you the specs, then we're going to do the swatches, and of course we're going to play with these eyeshadows. I will apply them, we'll do a makeup look, and see what happens. This eyeshadow palette retails for $49. It contains 21 eyeshadows. The shelf life of the palette is 24 months. Each eyeshadow contains 0.8 grams of product, which isn't too bad. This palette is made in the United States from US and imported ingredients. Also, all of the Urban Decay products are cruelty-free. It says so on Sephora's website. However, the palette does not bear the symbol of the bunny. And yes, let's go ahead and dive into this palette. So I am going to, as per usual, prime my arm with the Urban Decay Primer Potion and do the swatches. First you see the finger swatch, followed by the brush swatch, and then we will be back and I will do the look and deliver my final words and verdict. consider that those swatches swatched really beautifully with the finger. With the brush, some of them metallics, they, you know, they never really do swatch well with the brush. But then again, I'm not going to sit here and blame the eyeshadows. After all, I am swatching with the cheapest brush. I kind of find that hilarious in a way. It's an e.l.f. brush, and it was like $1 or $2, but it's dense and it has a lot of like bristles condensed there, so it's kind of good for swatching. So now I'm going to start working on my look. So what I have right now already on my face, I have of course started with this product right here, Be Hydra Drunk Elephant. It is not a primer necessarily, but I use it as a primer because it makes my base sticky. This is what I like. So this is by Yves Saint Laurent Blur Primer, and I got a small sample of this before I go ahead and buy something this expensive as a primer. I wanted to try a sample, so when I was ordering my Hourglass Vanish Stick foundation, this is what I'm wearing on right now, I decided to also get the sample of this. This is what I have applied after the Be Hydra Drunk Elephant, and then I went ahead and applied this Hourglass in the shade Buff. This foundation arrived, it had a little bit of a damage right here. Maybe I was not very careful when I was opening this packaging, and I kind of scuffed one of the corners. That's okay. In terms of the foundation, I do like how it lays, and I'm pretty happy with it. Do I find it ridiculously overpriced? Yes, I do. I find it very expensive. It's highly unnecessary. I was just being curious. So before I start working with the eyeshadows, I'm going to prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. Next, I'm going to use one of these Real Technique foundation brushes, and I'm going to go into the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. I have some right here, and what I'm going to do is I will pack some of this powder underneath my eyes so that if there is a fallout, it's going to be catching it, and then I can swipe it off with a brush instead of ruining my foundation, because I have not yet worked with these eyeshadows besides swatching them, so I have no idea if there's going to be fallout. When I swatched them, I had hardly noticed any fallout, but I just know, I know this. It's kind of like a Murphy's Law. Whenever I do not do this step, and when I'm lazy and I miss this step of applying loose powder under my eyes, I always have a fallout, and like, God forbid, I'm working with a dark eyeshadow, like something really deep blue or purple. Oh my gosh, and then it falls right underneath here, and you try to get rid of that. Yeah, right. And then I go in with a foundation or a concealer to cover up my steps. I'm going to go into the transition color right here. It's called Breakaway, and I'm going to apply that all over my lids. I mean, I have been noticing lately that people sort of skip this step and they go straight into the pigment, but I find it that if you prime your eyelids and then you go in and apply the good transition color, it kind of creates your base, sort of preps you. Sometimes other people say that if you apply a transition shade, that then when you're trying to go with very pigmented eyeshadow, that it's sort of getting diluted by your transition shade. I don't really agree with that. I suppose it's one other technique that you can do. Like, you don't have to necessarily go with this step, but I find that this is a very good step, especially like if somebody is starting and, you know, it just kind of helps to tie the look together. I find that if you were to go with a primer and then you did not do a transition shade and you try to go into some kind of very pigmented eyeshadow, then you are going to end up with like some kind of patchiness that would be hard to blend out. I'm going to go into the color Still Shot and apply this above my crease right here. By the way, for that I am using Wayne Goss number 4. I pretty much use this brush exclusively when I do my work on the eyeshadow. I have joked in another video and I said that if I only had this particular brush, I would be pretty much set. I would need to have some kind of a smaller detailing brush, but other than that, I could do a lot of my eyeshadow work just like with one Wayne Goss brush, maybe two, like maybe three. And this is pretty much what I do. Whenever I get to the spot right here, for some reason, like no matter how hard I try, I always seem to end up with like a patchy and bold spot. Like no matter how hard, I could be jamming my brush into this area right here, and it's like, oh, why are you not blending out? Come on, eyeshadow. So far so good. I'm not noticing really any fallout, but then again, this is a lighter color, so maybe there wouldn't be much of the fallout. You know, usually when I get to something more pigmented, like usually when I get to purples, burgundies, dark blues, I'm noticing like a lot of that kind of situation, especially if I need to build up like a really smoky eye and I need to pack a lot of eyeshadow, then I find a lot of fallout in those situations. So it's always a good rule of thumb to basically apply loose powder under your eye area so that then you can sweep it off. I'm going to go into this beautiful orange color called Baja, and I will tuck her in a little bit below this initial pink color. Is again using the same Wayne Goss brush. Pretty much at this point when I do this kind of blending work, I don't feel like I need to be switching the brushes. I'm just trying to intensify the pigment right here. And the reason I like Wayne Goss brushes like over lots of other brushes is because, I mean, they are really delicate on my eyes. I really don't like when the brush is scratchy, and his brushes are like never scratchy, especially for somebody who is wearing makeup like a lot, or if you are doing eyeshadows a lot. And if you are using brushes that have been cut or have like really scratchy bristles, I could see like that could become a really serious problem. So maybe finding something really soft. I really like that I can go back and forth with his brushes and they do not make my eyelids tired. And I'm really at this point trying to play with as many eyeshadows in this palette as possible. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to apply 21 eyeshadows. That would be ridiculous. My eyelids would just fall off. I think that look would not last. I think it would have been a really nice makeup challenge, like have a palette like this where you have 21 eyeshadows. Hey, try to apply all of them onto your eyelid and see what happens, you know. I'm not going to do that, but I am trying to make this a very like juicy look just to test the pigment and blendability of these eyeshadows. And so far, Urban Decay has really blown me away, I have to say. I mean, I like their shadows overall, but like before the Naked Heat palette and all of that, I mean, there's a good eyeshadows, but they're not really that exciting, especially when you have to work with like one particular shade range. This actually really does offer you a lot of versatility, and you can really create a lot of looks using these eyeshadows. And oh my goodness, I have to say that these are blending like a pro. I mean, these are really good, high quality eyeshadows. I'm trying to like be very detailed right now about how I'm blending, because when I am editing, like I cut a lot of this work out, and I think this is what people want to see. Right now, what I'm planning on doing is I want to go into this color, Hell Ride. My goodness, what a name, Hell Ride. And I want to kind of start packing it onto my inner and outer corners. So I'm going to actually switch the brushes at this point because I need to be doing some packing work. And this is some e.l.f. brush right here. So at this point, I am expecting fallout, but not going to worry about that because at this point I have prepared my lower lid area, and I'm not going to worry about it because I can just get rid of that by sweeping it off. I'm just gonna be packing it right here. And find another brush. This is not really working for me. Like, this is one of the reasons why I don't really like synthetic brushes. They just, the bristles, they are so straight. They're not catching on the pigment as well as that I would like them to. And so that's why I always go to like natural fibers. I mean, I'm sure there's really good synthetic ones out there, but I personally find that that's just not working for me. I would say that synthetic fibers are really good for like creamy products if you're working with liquids, and the natural fibers are really good when you are working with dry products. Right now I'm going to use Wayne Goss number 20, and I'm going to go into the shadow jet, basically tucking it into this outer corner and sort of deepening this area, creating a little bit more dimension. So I switched the brushes because I need to blend it a little bit better. This is my Goss number 6. So I know right now it looks kind of scary, but I promise all of this is going to get cleaned up, and I will show you right now just how. I'm going to grab this huge elf brush and I'm going to sweep this off my face. So right now I'm going to cut the crease, and I'm going into my Tarte Shape Tape in Fair Neutral, and I'm using this Real Technique brush. So right now I'm going to use the colors Big Sky and Radio to pack onto my cut creases. I'm actually gonna use my finger for that step. So I will go off camera to finish my eye look with some eyeliner and lashes, and then I will be right back with my final words and verdict. We're back to our program. I have applied my mascara, the eyeliner. This look is now complete. I have done a little bit of work with the same eyeshadows I was working at the top of my lid to kind of balance off the eye look, and now the time has come to announce the verdict. So, is Urban Decay Born to Run Olga Guffey approved? And the answer is yes, yes it is. These eyeshadows blend really well. I was especially impressed with this orange one, with the pink one. This color right here reminds me a lot of the Modern Renaissance Love Letter color. However, when I was working with it, there was some fallout. There was some fallout with Jet color right here. The metallics would apply best either with the finger or with the wet brush, nothing we haven't heard before. Overall, this is a great palette. Now, in terms of the eyeshadows being like unique, or whether or not you need to get it if you are a collector. If you are a makeup collector and you love Urban Decay, then by all means, I would recommend getting this palette. However, if you just somebody who wants to have like 1 or 2 palettes, I would say if you already have these colors, then you don't need this eyeshadow palette. For instance, if you have subculture, yeah. If you have Modern Renaissance, ABH, you would find that lots of these colors, like this is like burnt orange. This is your love letter right here. And then these are your transition shades. You would find that you might already have all of these colors. So again, if this is something that you just want to get because you're either are a collector or you're a makeup junkie like me, then yes, I definitely recommend. But these colors already probably exist in your collection. So like if you're looking into downsizing your collection, you might want to pass on these colors. But I actually do enjoy working with them, so definitely this is a really good find for me. On my lips right now, I am wearing color Ready because I think that it kind of goes with this look. I went a little bit ham with the eyeliner and I kind of destroyed it right here. Pat McGrath will not be proud of me. I feel like the makeup gods are not with me tonight, but that's okay. I just kind of roll with it. Hey, it happens, right? And I am wearing my Lancome Definicils primer as well as the mascara on my eyelids. I really enjoyed working with this palette, enjoyed making the video for you guys. With all of that said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I will see you all in my next video. I love you. Bye!